All right, here we are. We are outside. We've got Legacy Series Chevelle, Legacy Series Chevelle. Roger, before we start talking about this one, why don't we talk about this one over here, since not much has changed since last video, but where are we at with this one?
We finally got the rear differential. We made a change from a model that came to it that had some electric track lock thing, and we've gone to one that's simpler to tuck the exhaust up a little bit more, do some things like that. And so that differential finally showed up. I don't know if they keep those with LT4 engines or what they do, but we finally got that differential. Just finishing up a lot of loose ends of just making sure everything else that used to fit before still fits in this car. Interior panels, windows, dashes. We're getting ready to do a large manufacturing run of the dashes to try and cut the costs on those so that we could start selling those outright.
Now, when you say dash, we're talking about the dash insert.
The billet dash here.
That's going to have the gauges and everything that hold the Dakota Digital gauges.
It'll hold anything that'll bolt to a stock gauge. We run Dakota Digital exclusively. Most of my clients like the heads-up display that shows a large numerical number for the speedo, so you're not trying to read the gauge. And I guess as you get older, even like myself, you're like, man, I don't know are we doing 60 or 70? Which one is it?
And this is not plastic.
This is not plastic. They start from a 200-pound block of aluminum. They take, man, it used to be 28 hours of machine time to machine both sides. We've done a bunch of things to try and make it a few more pieces to cut down on the cost so that it doesn't have to start with quite as big a part. So we've been working on that stuff, and then just working on other ways to detail it just to try and make a nice finish in it, but not make it so labor intensive.
Okay, so I'm sure people are going to be pretty excited about that because it's been a long time since you've offered this dash, or even the older version.
Well, years ago when we did the OG black Chevelle, we did a dash because that car was everywhere and nothing had ever been done like that. People would call, and man, we sold those things for like $4,000 to $5,000, just depending on machining costs and material costs and everything like that back then, which was huge money. And I'm hoping to be able to sell it now for even less. I just have to commit to a large amount of dashes to do that. And so we're probably going to do a large pre-order and probably just do it in limited quantities where you get a shot at it one time and then that's it, so that we're not having to, it's just a very expensive one car only kind of product. So we're trying to develop it where it'll have a single DIN stereo and a double DIN option either way. There's just not a lot of room to have the really big, nice AC vents and a double DIN stereo.
So soon enough, those will be on the website, and then someone can check on there for pricing, options, and get in line for possibly getting one. Yeah,
so I just got to decide if we're going to machine 25 or 50, that's a large number when you start spreading the cost of that out.
Yeah, okay. So other than that, car's sitting about the same.
Well, we took the wheels off of it and put it on the number 4 car, because the wheels that were on this were intended for that. So we're finalizing what backspacing change on this car, with just the differences in the IRS and the differences in the front suspension, and just the ride height's about the same, and just fitting it so that we can make the wheels a common part number through the manufacturers that we use.
Yeah, and if someone is looking at this video and like, why would you put these are Goonie wheels, these are manufactured specifically for shops like this to be able to move the cars around very easily. So yeah, that's why they look like that. And
this car is a 70 with a 71, 72 rear bumper.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and kill us in the comments for putting a 71, 72 bumper on the back of a 70.
I think a lot of people are coming around. I've been seeing a lot more comments pop up and be like, hey, is that what it is? Man, that's pretty cool. So like, I think there's tides have changed a little bit.
It's just the 15-inch wheel guys that are like, oh, those wheels are too big. You shouldn't do anything to the cars.
So okay, other than the bumper, front and back, what's the title say? Because that's the other one that people get all corked up about.
Because apparently that matters.
What's the title say?
Title says 1970.
Okay, so for the people, it does title as a 70. So the only thing that you're looking at is the incorrect rear bumper, but that could be changed if you don't like it.
It's just a matter of bumper brackets and a bumper.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we just think that the 4 lights in the back and the 4 lights in the front kind of balance each other. It's kind of supposed to be a modern custom car.
Yeah.
We've done it either way. Rob's car had a 70. He wanted a 70 rear bumper, so we put a 70 rear bumper on it. We could even put a 70 rear bumper on a 71, 72.
Yeah, and just also I want to state, we've talked about it many times in the other videos, but that rear bumper, even though it's a 71 to 72 rear bumper, Ironworks has taken the extra step because they like that design so much. Roger loves it. He's taken the extra step and made rear taillights, not the outers, but the inners, actually both of them?
Both, so they match.
Okay, so they all match. And we go into it in other videos. I won't go into it now because it's not as significant, but I wanted to point out he's not just slapping a 71, 72 on the back and calling it a day. You're putting a lot more thought into it because of the design feature.
So we make it to where these lights are the same.
Yeah.
So they're both fully red, turn
and they
signals.
both light up.
They
at the
both
same
light
time.
up. It's not just one that lights up and you're like, why are the inner lights broken?
Yeah.
So the backup lights are gone. So if you want backup lights, you just barely touch the brake and it makes it all black and you don't have all the extra lights back there.
Yeah.
Just makes it clean.
All right. So people are probably wondering what's going on over there.
So this one here is actually the very first car that we started. And as we sold through the first couple cars very quickly, this was what we called the prototype. And
so this was like back in like late 22, maybe?
Something like that. I bought this car out of Flagstaff, Arizona. Had a stout 383 in it, I think. Pretty stout motor. Sold the engine, trans, chassis, everything is one fell swoop. And this would be the last car that will be body on chassis. So this number 6 cars is where we're starting with the Uni-Body chassis, and this car would be body on chassis. So as you can see, this car has the firewall in it. The firewalls are staying very similar. It's just a little bit different in the toe boards on the new cars, but this stamp that we put in there on the Pullmax, and then everything else is laid out with the specific steering column position, the brake master cylinder position, wiring provisions in the middle, and then heating and cooling provisions here on the outside.
So talk about this right here, these holes in the middle that are right behind the engine. We had a couple people commented about that, and I think it's something to note.
Well, we do this so that we can mil-spec the connectors, so we can have a harness that goes inside and a harness that comes outside. Some guys will just make a giant hole and run all the wires through one hole, which is fine. We just like to show, we like to be a little bit more proud of the wiring and plumbing, and that's kind of an aircraft or high quality style of doing it, to where you have this nice aircraft quality connector and they're expensive. They're 70 or 80 bucks, I think, for the connectors, and that just allows everything to fall in nicely. You don't have to run all this wiring down the side of the transmission, go in the transmission tunnel where all the heat is. Just kind of keeps it away from those things, but we like to show the details of the plumbing and the wiring and things like that.
Just to confirm here, so you're saying, and I know this, but I want to go in more detail, you can twist off the wiring harness right there.
Yeah, there's a female side that would be stuck to the car that threads in with a bulkhead nut, and it threads into this hole that's kind of D-shaped. You can see it's flat at the top. So it indexes in there, and then there's another piece that bolts in here that passes some different wires, because there's a few wires you don't want to cut because of the resistance changes that happen in your drive-by-wire and a few other things that you want to keep that length, all that, because it's all programmed into the ECU. And so we just the resistances and the voltages that regulate how the computer works. And so you want to keep those exactly the same. And so this is the bulkhead piece, and this is the mil-spec section.
Yeah, so you can disconnect that front section in the engine compartment and put that off to the side, and the rest of the harness sits inside the car if you're trying to service it or whatever reason or whatnot.
And it's just a show of quality. It just shows that you've kind of gone a little further beyond.
And typically what you see is a hole with a big rubber grommet and a harness, or 2 harnesses or 3 harnesses going through it that aren't sealed.
These LT motors get to the point where they have, like, I believe it's 120 wires.
Yeah.
And so you kind of want to split those things up. There's a few wires over there. There's some wires out of the bottom. There's the wires in the connector there. And so you're really just trying to get all that stuff done nicely.
Okay, so this is the last body on chassis car. It's an aftermarket IRS chassis like all the rest. This was the prototype car that everything was designed off of originally, and now you're to the point to where you don't actually need it in-house anymore. So it is up for sale.
It is up for sale. I picked a black cherry with a black vinyl top. We've got a rendering for it that you can insert in here.
It's going to have the hubcap wheels.
It's got the hubcap wheels.
Yeah.
We found some Copo hubcaps that we're going to put on here that should be here later today. It's got all the JRI custom valve shocks. It's got everything on it that will make it like all the other cars to drive great. Probably get some other stuff right out of the gate. The updated spring rates that we've done as we've been increasing spring rates even a little bit further to find that it just gives the car a bit more assuredness, I guess is the word, of just the way it feels when it drives. And so we've done that and been upgrading this. But when we sold the first 3 cars, those guys were just in a hurry to want the cars that they said,
and they already had their cars.
And they already had their cars. They were in the queue. And so they didn't really want us to finish this one. They wanted us to finish their cars, which makes sense because they're excited.
Right.
And so this car kind of got pushed to the side. We finished those other 3, and this one went to paint jail. And so it was there for a while getting that part done. And now we've got it back and putting it together. I'm really happy with the color choice that we picked out with the black cherry and the vinyl top. We just got the car back on Monday, and we hope to get the LT1 with the 10-speed in it here very soon. And
so this is pretty much going to emulate Greg's car.
Yeah, this will be just like Goldie, except it's an LT1, not an LT4, so it'll have 475 horsepower as opposed to 650, but everything else will be the same. It'll be a nice, fun cruiser car, meant to drive anywhere.
And you did say that you did pick up some hubcaps, some factory hubcaps, originals.
I believe reproduction.
Okay, but similar to the originals, and these wheels are, if people don't know, because we do have some comments that are like, oh, why would you go with those big old steel wheels or whatever, and they look cheap and stuff. But the reality is they're not big steel wheels. They're nice.
They're actually high quality Forgeline wheels that are 3-piece wheels. They all bolt together from the backside. They're just meant to clear the larger suspension and the larger brake packages that we've all become accustomed to.
Yeah, I think a lot of people fail to understand that today's building of these cars, the demand of OE looking stuff in newer technology, materials, and design is a big hit. It's a big, yes. You're seeing that more and more and more, which is great. I know it downgrades, to some people it downgrades the look of it, but to others, you get the point.
Well, that's why the new cars drive better, is because spindles are taller, brake packages are bigger. You have cars that are making a lot more horsepower now. It's crazy now to think that they're selling the ZR1X that's 1,200 horsepower off of the showroom floor. You would think you need a special license for that, but with all that stuff comes bigger brakes and bigger, taller spindles and all those things that make things faster. And so you want bigger brakes.
So this one has all the amenities.
This has all the deluxe interior, everything that we've done with the recessed seats, all that stuff. We're just going to do a black interior at this point. There were a lot of black cherry cars that had white interior, but I don't know how that'll work.
Yeah.
So
I think you're going the right direction, in my opinion.
I like the contrast with the vinyl top and the black cherry paint and the black wheels. I think it's going to be quite a looker with the chrome and stuff like that. Yeah.
Everyone, let us know what you guys think down in the comments, because obviously, these cars, if you're into them, you have an opinion. The stance, the look, the wheel size, everything, all the things about these cars. Obviously this is a highly modified car and it's not a stock car. But again, if you're watching these videos, I'm sure you're more into this kind of look more than factory OE stuff, because I don't think we've really had an original SS car on your channel.
No, we most of them have all been converted cars of some sort. We're getting ready to get started on the number 7 Chevelle here next month. The chassis just came out of the fixture at the Roadstershop, and we should be getting that soon. And that'll be a 70. That's basically a patinaed car, a patinaed red 70 Chevelle. It's for a guy named Dr. Bob. We're doing an LT4 10-speed in that car. He's excited to take his kids and use it. He came up here and checked it all out and made sure we could put 4 kids in there, and he's hoping he could put his wife in there as well. So should be a lot of fun. So we should be getting started on that one here at the end of the month.
4 kids. He almost is like on the direction of Boy Andy.
Boy Andy, or I can't pronounce his name, but he had his '69 Chevelle out last night.
Seif.
Zeif.
Yeah.
I forget his last name.
Yeah. From the Bay Area that just was on Autotopia LA.
Those guys are rock stars now.
Yeah.
So
yeah. If you guys remember Boy Andy, you guys built, what was that, a 64?
We built it. First, we built a '69 Chevelle for him, and then we built a '65 Chevelle wagon because he realized his boys were going to grow up and be big boys, and they wouldn't fit in his Chevelle anymore. And so then he moved into the wagon.
Yeah, and that was a healthy wagon.
It was a healthy wagon,
at least.
So
LT4 wagon, yeah.
Yes.
So the next number 7 is Dr. Bob's, and it is a red 70 patina car. And we're supposed to be having that here in the next few weeks, which hopefully, like we talked about, I think our goal is for the next video is to show Dr. Bob's stock car next to one of these cars.
So we can really dial in the differences of what lowering a suspension does and what having a chassis that's intended for this new ride height does. And so that you can see where at this ride height, everything's optimum as opposed to not being optimum when you lower it. Little air show for us today.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a big difference. I tried explaining that in the videos after driving Greg's car, but you know, I tried to, I know there's a lot of different ways to explain it, but the biggest thing is that these cars in theory aren't lowered. This is the manufacturer design ride height that you're seeing, and that is a big significance because the suspension geometry is set at equal at this ride height.
Yeah, you're able to, instead of just moving everything up to get the ride height that you want so that the car looks cool, you're able to find that balance to where you have some up travel and you have the down travel. But as you lower the car, you just get more down travel.
Yeah, which is a huge difference because, and going back to driving Greg's car because I had so much seat time in it, you would come up to, compared to like the old Chevelle that I had that was lowered with nice suspension and everything, Pro Touring direction, and you kind of get ready, on the old car, you get ready for like a big G out on the highway at speeds, and on Greg's car, it was like, where was the G out? Like,
well, it took you like 10 times to go over some pucker moment.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, we're gonna be okay and survive. I'm not just gonna bash the bump stops on this thing.
And seeing how the aggressive stance on these cars, you would almost think like, man, there's not that much suspension travel. But I'm gonna tell you, there's a large amount of suspension travel in the design of these cars, and it's insane. It's like driving a newer sports sedan, BMW, Mercedes, something where it's got a killer stance to it. It handles great, but while you're going over obstacles, G-outs or anything like that, you don't feel at any time that the suspension's being maxed out as in a compression or...
and that's what we did on these cars in making our own shocks, is that we set the ride height on the car to where at ride height, the shock is at 50%. So it's 50% extended or 50% compressed, however you'd like to look at it. And when you do that, that is allowing you to have up travel and down travel. And so we put a 4-inch shock in there, which gives you 2 inches of up travel at the shock and 2 inches of down travel at the shock. Well, when you move that out to the end of the hub, that's about 5.5 inches of total travel.
So you're looking at about 5.5, give or take, inches of travel out of the suspension. And the other thing too is because it's IRS, that's another dynamic that is completely different than a solid axle rear car.
Yeah, because it doesn't transfer when you hit a bump on this side, that axle is going to go up, which is going to do something to the other side.
Yeah.
And so that bump is affected by the other side of the car. In IRS, you just hit the bump on that side of the car.
Yeah, I'm really excited about next month if we can hit the mark with timing and everything to get Dr. Bob's in stock form and size it up against, you know, one of these cars as in ride heights and suspension, and then also look at the seating position too, because I think that's one of the other things that we wanted to talk about and discuss the differences between a factory SS with factory SS seats and how you're like looking through the very top of the windshield.
Yes.
Compared to these, you're nice and just in a great seating position.
Yes.
Yeah, and let alone, I mean, you're how tall?
I'm 6'6".
Yeah, and you still have plenty of room above you. Yeah, so that's gonna be great.
We'll just go with room.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's a big deal because you're not.
Because usually I don't fit. Usually there's cars where my knee hits the back of the turn signal lever. There's just stuff where you sit way up in the car. A lot of times you don't, in a stock car, you don't need the sun visors. I love the sun visors in the legacy cars because they actually get down. Like usually the roof line is blocking everything in just a natural sun visor. And so there's things like that. But even if you're a shorter guy, it just puts you down in the car to where you feel more modern and not up on the wheel.
After driving Greg's car and then getting in my factory SS 70, I literally felt like I was sitting on a bench seat in a truck, old truck, when I got into, and I've like felt so just depressed at that point. I'm like, give me that seating position back.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It changes everything, no matter what your height is.
Yeah.
Because you can adjust the seat. It just gives you room to adjust the seat up, tilt it wherever you want, do all those things.
So let's get back to this car real quick here. Like you said, it is available to purchase now. At this point, you're ready to let it go.
Yes.
If someone was interested in it at the time of this video airing, remember, time of the video airing, what kind of lead time is? Someone said, let's sign up.
We can have it done by the end of the year.
Okay.
So that's not a problem.
Okay.
So we've got everything here to put it together. I got to find the trim for the roof molding, but that's the only thing I don't think we have at this point.
Okay, so minimum, and realistically, so if someone wanted to jump into one of these cars and just wanted to rip the Band-Aid and get it right as fast as possible, this would be the hot ticket.
We could make one of those Lexus commercials with the bow on top and the fancy music at your house to unveil it for your wife. Yes.
Okay, so you've seen the rendering, you see the car right here. It's a pretty cool looking car, and I guess minimal options. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are set in stone. Obviously, the color and the vinyl top is set in stone, but minimal options be able to possibly change on the car. Get with Roger, and you guys can discuss it. If the wheels aren't for you, I'm sure you can get them into some Keystone wheels.
We can change the wheels. The only thing I really can't change is the 10-speed automatic. If a guy wants an LT4, I could put an LT4 in here. I need to do that pretty quickly. If you want to change interior color, I haven't sent that out yet, but that's an easy swap on that type of stuff. Obviously, the vinyl top's not changing, and the black cherry's not changing, but and it looks good.
Right. Okay. And if you want to understand what the car is going to end up looking like, you can go back and look at Greg's Goldie, is what it's called, Goldie Chevelle, and this is going to be pretty similar to that car, other than Goldie.
Just the gold color is different. That's it.
And
I spend so much time following that gold car in other cars, and I'm like, man, if you could just pick a better color. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. After you really get to just sink in and understand what that, and I think the special about that color is that it's an original, non-painted.
Yeah, that's what's good.
Like the original paint, the original vinyl top, original glass in that car too, right?
It is original glass, original vinyl on the roof. Like,
yeah,
it's an incredible car.
You can't buy that.
Yes.
You can't buy that. I mean, he bought the car definitely like that, but I'm saying you can't, you can't buy that as in like, you can't get an original paint job right here. This you just have to,
Well, and this allows you to just make some other things nicer that you wouldn't have on the original cars.
Yeah, but this car will look just in that direction of that car, just different color.
Yeah.
All right, so big thing. Someone needs to get a hold of you. Website?
Just follow our website and email us. We'll get back to you right away. That's just the easiest thing. We just get a ton of spam calls. I just don't see the reason to have someone sitting there answering the phone. And we just use it as a way to make sure someone's serious. So we're busy working on the cars, and that's what we're trying to focus on. So in the afternoon, I tend to call people back. And sometimes we'll email back and forth just to figure out what you want and see if we're a fit for what you're trying to do, and kind of go from there. So
yeah, you're building complete cars. It takes a lot of time and effort to discuss things with people, and obviously you're not a repair shop, you're not an LS swap shop.
We're not.
You're doing that kind of stuff to the cars that you're building, but that's not what you're known for. So hopefully people can understand why you have the email directory to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. We just passed 5,000 subscribers, which isn't a lot, but I'm surprised that 5,000 people would be like, I want to see more of this. I'm just kind of blown away as a guy who's like, well, I better get out there and give it a try. If there's stuff you want to see, there's stuff you want us to talk about, if there's things you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments of just things that you're like, hey, what if you guys did some product reviews, or what if you did these, or what if you talked about this, or hey, I'd like to learn, you know, some more about this in the back. Like, we're just trying to explain how we build cars and the effort that we put into it, and not trying to be a metal shaping channel, not trying to be a bodywork and paint channel, but just trying to explain why we do the work that we do and why we get the results that we do.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.